I'm Angel. Today I will be educating you and informing you about HIV and AIDS. I will give you a little bit of history on HIV and AIDS, as well as what it's like to live with AIDS, as well as educating you on if it is treatable, is there a cure, and so on. First, I want to start with HIV was first discovered in the 1980s. It was believed to have started with the gay community as far as transferring it to each other. With further research, it was also found that the virus was a mutated primate virus. It was managed to cross into the species barrier, meaning as from animals. Blood contact with chimpanzees in the West Africa. That was the Cimmerian immunodeficiency virus. It mutated into HIV, and HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus. HIV is transmitted mostly through sex with an infected person. The virus attacks the body as well as destroys the white blood cells that are meant to protect the body against various opportunistic diseases. It can also be transmitted through blood transfusions where the donor is HIV positive. So that's why it's very important to be honest when giving blood, as well as it's also important to also be tested on a yearly, mostly every 6 months, so twice a year basis. The virus overwhelms the body, it shuts down the immune system. And when your immune system goes below a certain number, then that's when it develops into AIDS. And once it develops into AIDS, it's full-blown AIDS. HIV is a disease that is livable. You can live with it. And when I say you can live with it, there's medication that individuals take. The medication is known as ARVs. It's antiretroviral medication. This medication is very expensive. I know from my personal experience working in the clinic as well as in a prison, if someone is tested positive or come in contact with someone who is HIV positive, we have to give them this medication. In the prison system by itself alone, one pill is over $1,000. So this is something that people can live with. The medication is very expensive, but it is something that people can live with and have an everyday life. It's also possible for people to have HIV and be undetectable. And what I mean when I say undetectable is you can have HIV and not have any symptoms. It won't be detected in your blood work as far as you having intercourse with a partner. You'll be less likely to spread it to the next person. An infection by an HIV has far-reaching. It impacts your whole body. It impacts your physical, your mental, and especially the financial aspect, because it is very expensive. But the disease, the virus that's in your body, it fights. So what it does, the HIV, it wipes out all of your immune system, your white blood cells. And when I say white blood cells, your white blood cells they fight your infection in your body, but it cannot fight these infections. So it makes it hard for the white blood cells to do their job. When I tell you I've had patients who come in who were just in contact and has to take these ARV antiretroviral medication, and just because they had contact, they're not tested HIV positive, but just because they had contact with someone who was HIV positive, they have to take this medication. Now, with taking this medication, it will affect their immune system. And when I say affect their immune system, the person who is not even HIV positive, who are taking the medication, their immune system becomes very low. These people have to take this medication for 2 weeks straight, and they will become very sick. And that's because the medicine goes in and just fights. What makes it worse is countries who aren't as lucky as us, who does not have the they aren't equipped, or they don't have access to certain medications because of them being less fortunate. They take very hard risks, meaning their HIV, the percentage of new HIV infections developing are very likely on a daily basis. Like, I remember one of the studies that we did, some like 69% of new HIV infections in 2009 occurred in the sub-Sahara African countries. It's sad because it puts a strain on these countries because their health care is not as good as that in the US and Europe. And it's hard to treat it because there's no cure for it. We can treat it all day, but there's no cure for it. And a part of treatment is to adhere to the tests that you have to take every 3 to 6 months, following certain guidelines, having intercourse, letting your partner know that you're HIV positive, things like that. It is evident that HIV and AIDS is a quite dangerous disease. It is primarily transmitted through unprotected sex with an infected person. It can destroy one's mental and physical health, and is most pronounced in the sub-Saharan African countries, with some countries such as Switzerland having infection rates as high as 25% of their population. The disease is a pandemic in some places around the world. So that's why we want to do our best and get tested. Don't get tested because you think you might have it. Get tested just to know. It is best to go to your local health, use it, your PCP. You can go into the ER and just tell them that you just want to get tested for HIV, as well as any other STDs. Don't wait. Get tested today.